Okay, good morning, you guys. Here is what's going on in the gardening today. I'm going to do my Discover, Deconstruct and Delegate walkabout here shortly, but I want to show you some things that are going on. I got my phone to do just that. I'm going to try to snap some pictures of some things that I want to put in my garden journal, and I'm going to try out for the first time today my new toy that you guys so heartily recommended. So I'm just going to get started. The kids are walking to school. I've had 2 cups of coffee and I'm feeling better. So I think I'm just going to get started. What do you say? Okay, so I am noticing that I love all of the white tulips. This is Vidal. It's from Color Blends. And by the way, if you guys want to order them, you might want to put them in your basket now, even though they won't bill you or ship you till next year. But the white ones are really exploding. And then I'm going to note in my garden journal today, in fact, I'm going to take a picture of it right now. First tulip, okay, of the Pinky Sorbet Color Blends. There's one there. And I've noticed one over here. And while I'm here, okay, look at how pretty that little fringe is on that white tulip. It's when all of these different varieties within the Vidal selection all come into bloom that they really are at their most beautiful, I think. And that is still happening. I am noticing over here, and I will put this in my garden journal, I'm seeing the first buds on, I think this is Autumn Empress, on this Encore azalea, and I mean tons of seedlings. Okay, one thing I am appreciating right now is this is my favorite kind of weather. When it's cool in the morning, it's jacket or sweater weather, and then in the afternoon it gets almost hot. It's kind of like Santa Fe weather. Something that I want to thank you guys for, a number of you said this, and I love it the way we kind of all think the same. I have so many seedlings coming up, and someone mentioned, and I kind of had thought about this myself, but it's always helpful when you guys validate what I'm thinking. So maybe I do need to just slough off some of these, maybe get out my dough scraper. And I mean, there's tons of them. This is way too much for Bina bonariensis, but that's okay. It is what it is, and I'll edit it out. But I think it might be cool if I did just slough off some of those while they're still tiny, put them in a pot, and just see what they do in a pot. Now, do I need another potted plant? No, I need that like a hole in the head, but nevertheless, it's an experiment and I can always gift them to somebody. Okay, I'm making a notation in my garden journal, and in fact, right now, I'm gonna do this. And do you guys know how to use Google Lens? So I just go to Google, right there, and then I hit that button right there, and then I take a picture of something, and it will hopefully tell me what it is. And this is a very specific kind of daffodil. It looks like white welcome narcissus. I love these. Good morning, guys. How are you? Have a good day. All right, you too. I like these because they bloom simultaneously with the Vidal. So I think I want more of those. This is my question of the day. Do you guys think it would look as pretty as I think it would look to have clumps of those daffodils running up and down here? And what I like about that is I don't have to replant them every year. They will come back. And I think they're really beautiful. Plus, I just love the double petaled nature of them. And look here, look at how big this allium is getting. So once these are done and starting to die back, this foliage will completely cover up the drying foliage that I have to keep in place for those daffodils. But look at this guy right there, the great big allium. And lots of alliums running up and down here. So here is one of the notes that I am taking, and I need to get these in the ground. I've got 2 clumps of them over here. Here I've got this beautiful yard, and I'm showing you guys all of my ugly to-dos. But I'm going to get these hyacinths in the ground, and now that I remember that they're there, they had been stuck back behind some bushes. Now that I remember that they are there, I will kind of figure out where I want to put it is my deconstruct, and then I will delegate it to myself because I can do that now. Let's walk down here and see what's going on. I did go ahead and put this topiary in this pot yesterday. I think if I had one more topiary, it would be too much. There's probably an argument that could be made that this is too much, but when I stand back from a distance from the street, I still think it looks good. And boy, it's happy. Look at how happy it is. It's putting on all sorts of new growth. Little red tipped, almost looks like the color of a photinia. This is a Eugenia. You can find these all sorts of places right now, and they're pretty inexpensive for the kind of drama that they lend. More, oh wow. Okay, now you can see that the salvia, the East Friesland salvia, is really coming out. And I bet Stuart can capture for you. Sometimes I'll be doing these little walk-arounds on my own, but I've got Stuart today. Look at how beautiful the light is shining on that. I don't know, Stuart, from your vantage point, you can see it. But there's just tons of blooms, and they are just going to be the perfect color echo. Maybe we should play a drinking game, and every time I say color echo, we take a shot. Let's look down here. So I kind of go on and off. This is Bacopa, B-A-C-O-P-A, and I've planted it in these pots. I love how frilly and delicate and feminine it is, which this is how my brain works. I think of the front yard kind of as the more feminine component of my gardenscape, and the backyard definitely as the more masculine one. The colors up here are more feminine, and I think the overall effect is more feminine. I am thrilled, because this is starting to bug me. I am thrilled that my grass is going to get mowed today, mowed and edged, because I think it is definitely time. But I wanted it to recover. I thought some of the perennial ryegrass that I'd planted in here maybe had gotten burned when I fertilized it with that Milorganite, but Kayla says no, it was probably winter burn from that really last cold spell we had. But you can see that not only is the ryegrass kicking in, but so is the Bermuda. So the Bermuda is the hot weather grass, and a recent feed makes it, I think it will really be happy and start to pop. Okay, I'm going to take a snapshot right here for my garden journal because it looks pretty. One thing that I have noticed lately is I mentioned this after my garden tour to Scotland last year, how important a component the sky is in terms of taking pictures of your gardenscape. And the sky has been an absolutely fabulous blue lately, and the colors the variety of the clouds, I think they've been cirrus clouds, have really, really been incredible. Oh, Stuart, let's take a break and we'll go back up here. Okay, I told you I'm taking a little break to come in and get something to drink. It's time. This is about the time of day. It is, I don't know, but around 10 when I quit drinking coffee, quit drinking my early ice water. And then this is the tip I want to tell you about. This is not a sponsored post. It's just a product that's absolutely wonderful. I actually discovered this. These are called Noon Sports Hydration. When I was at Movara, and one of the gals told me about it. And then a couple of you mentioned it, and my friend Deborah the doc, she also mentioned it, that one of the reasons I might be having problems with my muscle spasms and things like that at night is because I'm not getting enough electrolytes. I may be drinking enough water, but I'm not really processing electrolytes. So these come in little tabs, kind of like Alka-Seltzer, and you just drop one in. Actually, they are delicious, and these only have, let me see, well, I have to look on it here someplace. Okay, these only have 15 calories, you guys. Unlike Liquid IV, which has like 45, these only have 15. And why I like that is this tastes almost more like Crystal Light or something. It doesn't taste thick. It doesn't taste like what's the hydrating drink that sports people drink? Gatorade. I don't like the taste of Gatorade. This is really clear and refined, and it's good. To me, it's 10 times more refreshing. And actually, because it tastes so good, it makes me drink more. Again, this is not a sponsored post. I will put a link. This is just something that I found and I really love. And parenthetically, so does Hubs. He has started drinking them too. So they are great. Noon sports hydration. I highly recommend it. Delicious. And hopefully it'll keep me from having those nasty muscle spasms at night. Okay, that magnolia is still looking beautiful. And one thing I noticed, I am going to get, this year I'm going to get some of those pods. I just love the look of those seed pods after they bloom. I don't think I had those last year. It may not have been mature enough, but that'll be beautiful. And I think they'll also look absolutely stunning in an arrangement, especially as this green comes out. So that is the development of that. Okay, my question of the day yesterday was, should I or shouldn't I limb up the Sunshine Ligustrum? And I think I would say 9 out of 10 of you said definitely go ahead and limb it up. A couple of you, I think actually just one, said don't limb it up. But I think it looks beautiful, and look how the light shines through it. And you'll be able to see a glimpse of that boxwood in the past. Sorry, I got interrupted there. There was the great big, in fact, Stuart, let's get a shot of them. There's the great big group that walks to school every morning. I love them. We always have to chat for a minute. So you'll be able to see, it makes this more transparent, and you can see through the canes and the branching now to the glossy green of the boxwood behind it, and I think it looks beautiful. So now here's, I guess, a redundant question of the day. Should I go ahead and do it to that one over there? And maybe even this one. I'm thinking that one over there, I might just do a mini version of it, not as drastically as this one. Talk about a Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Baby Bear, but it looks beautiful. In fact, I don't ever remember the ligustrum looking as beautiful in the spring as it looks this year. It is definitely a good year for the ligustrum. Finally, so slow, but finally, Miss Bonnie Spirea is starting to come out, and I'll put a link to these plants, you guys. You can click on the screen and you can get them, but this Miss Bonnie Spirea is starting to come out, and what I love about this combo is that when it comes out, it is going to, if we come over here, and I need to record this in my garden journal because it's just the perfect color matching. When this blooms, it's going to bloom in exactly the same color pink as this salvia, whose name I cannot recall. It's not East Friesland. It blooms in pink. And those two are going to color coordinate, and it's definitely a tone-on-tone look that is beautiful. If this were still in bloom at the same time, I could have a triple play of that shade, and it would be stunning, I think. Okay, a notation that I just made. I have discovered that I've got yellowing on my Nellie Stevens hollies. Part of that is natural because the leaves are starting to, you know, they're old leaves. They're starting to shed themselves. But it also looks to me like they look a little bit chlorotic, so I'm going to check the water on them. Are they being overwatered? I also think that they're really voracious feeders. If you look closely at them, in fact, let's do this, Stuart. Let's zoom in if we can. But you can see all of the flowers on there. Yeah, so they berry very heavily, and because of that, they're pretty voracious feeders right now. So I'm going to give them a feed. I'm going to tip prune them. Stuart, you can stay right there. I'm going to tip prune them, and what I mean by tip prune is that I am going to reduce the length of the branches, probably singularly rather than with big hedge clippers. So I might prune it like right there because I want to decrease their girth. I don't want them to be quite so wide, and so I think I can do that. So on my list, I will be the one probably pruning them, but I think I will have Dave, the tree guy, come out and feed them because he can really get down in there and knows exactly what solution to use. Now, a couple of you asked, I think it was last week, why did I put them right here between me and my neighbor to block my neighbor? No. You may remember last week when we had those really bad windstorms that the prevailing wind was from the west. It was from the southwest, and my topiaries were kind of all leaning towards the east from that west wind. This actually provides a nice windbreak, especially for all of these hydrangeas that are down here, these white wedding hydrangeas. In fact, Stuart, if we can, let's put a picture of the white wedding hydrangeas. So they really protect this, and over time I'll get more shade and they will protect this whole area. Now, does it also give me a little bit of privacy? Yes, it does, and I kind of like that, you know, especially in the morning. I kind of like that. And actually, Lori, my neighbor, she likes it too. So good, what is it, that expression? Good fences make good neighbors. So think of this as kind of a living fence that has many reasons to commend it. So let's turn around, Stuart, right here, and I'm looking at how pretty the social patio looks. And when we come back, I want to make an observation about that and my new umbrella. Well, I don't know where I have been because I'm so late to the party on this one. I finally got one of these benches that you can sit on, and then you can turn it upside down and it's a kneeler, and then it's got these handy tool pockets where you can keep your garden tools, but it's just perfect for this kind of job. And what I'm doing is I'm just cutting back the scented geranium, and I'm going to be using the clippings in a gorgeous arrangement. Now, I'm doing this in the morning while the foliage is still hydrated, so it won't wilt immediately upon putting it into the container. The other thing is I will cut off enough so that I can cut it off again when I actually arrange it. But I love this little stool. Here's a link to the little stool. And then here, I wish I had smell-o-vision and you guys could smell just how beautifully fragrant the scented geranium is. Okay, this is another example of gardening in the forgotten places, and one of the reasons that I make these notations in my phone. Number one, I've got a tree right here. This is a volunteer cherry laurel, I think, that I just potted up as a topiary. It is not dead, it's coming out, but while it looks like this, I didn't want it front and center, so I've just got it crammed over to the side. Definitely too heavy for me to move, so I have put that on my list, and I will delegate that maybe to you, Stuart, or to somebody with a stronger back than mine. But also growing in the forgotten places, this area, which is kind of just a dead space between the holly hedge and the brick wall on my west side, is where I have lots of larkspur growing, and that is intentional, not so much because of its contribution to the overall spring show, but because when this blooms back here, I can use all of this as cut flowers without denuding the beauty of the landscape in general. So how did I get them back there? Well, when I was deadheading and cutting back the larkspur flower stalks after they were finished, while they were drying, I just laid them in this area to either self-seed or to decompose over time. So you can see how many there are. You can also see that because they're somewhat protected, that they're taller and they're more mature than the larkspur coming up in other areas. It'll be blooming actually pretty soon, and maybe even by Easter. So, you know, we have more opportunities than we usually think of when we garden in the forgotten places. Good morning, Mary Sunshine. Look at how much the sweet peas have grown. I see more seeds have germinated down in there. And again, these, it may turn too hot for them to do anything, but it gives me such delight to check on them during the day and see if there's new seedlings, new seeds that have indeed germinated. And then on the topiary walkway, I think that today I'm going to, as I stage the backyard, I'm going to start moving these guys to the back. These two may stay here and just get fed more regularly, but the pretty myrtles are going to get a trim, and I think they're going to go to the back. And then as often as possible, when something is in bloom, I try to, and you guys probably do this too, it's part of living a garden-inspired life, I try to consciously recognize and notice just how beautiful the ephemeral blooms of the redbuds are, and they have been spectacular this year. So here's another thing I'm noticing. Stuart, if you would do a 360, and on the corner of Lori's porch right there, you can see that phlox, and look at how it's the perfect color echo of the redbud behind you. Yeah, the other way. Yeah, look at how it's the perfect color echo of that redbud behind you. So if you are trying to color coordinate this early spring show, that would be absolutely a beautiful combo. And that is a pretty common variety of thrift or creeping phlox. I saw some, I think, at Bricks, but you could Google Lens it and know exactly what the variety is, or just use your eyeballs, and next time you go to the nursery, you'll recognize it immediately. Spencer shirts matches my garden. You need to just stand here with your purple t-shirt on. Yeah, yeah. Good morning. Okay, great minds think alike, and some of you thought the very same thing I did when I was talking about my umbrella, and I ended up just getting a plain gray one this time with a scallop, partly because I think it'll kind of match the awnings, which will be going up pretty soon. But a number of you said, oh, Linda, you were standing there in that black and white striped shirt, and maybe a black and white umbrella would look really cool here. And I thought the same thing, and I almost flipped that switch until I thought, with everything else going on, it just might need something solid to kind of ground it. So may I in the future try it? Yes, but I thought the same thing. I think that's so funny that you guys thought the same thing. If I could have found one that was gray and white striped, I might have gone for it. But they only had black and white striped, and I thought that might be a little bit too contrasting, a little bit, I don't know, a little bit too strident. So I talked to Kayla, and we got some of the mounds reduced back here. I can't remember if I showed you that or not, where the piers were installed, and we'll be coming back with gravel. But Stuart, I don't think, this is exciting. Exciting. So I've got my beautiful pink rose growing up here, and I am seeing my first buds on it. Okay, look there, first bud. I've got a little bit of winter weathered foliage here that I'll clean up but it looks very healthy. And I got some rose tone yesterday, so I'm going to be, ooh, there's another one. I'm going to be feeding all of my roses with rose tone. It's that Espoma Organic, kind of a balanced fertilizer. And I am going to be feeding not only this one, ooh, look at all the new growth on those Oakland hollies. I'm still deciding what to do with these. I think I may cut them off. But yeah, but it's so fun to see the way they're growing that, you know, sometimes you garden for landscaping reasons and curb appeal, and then sometimes we have to garden just for fun, I think. And that's kind of a fun thing. So, oh, I wanted to show you these. I finally got these in place. This was something I checked off of my to-do list the other day. So, Stuart, if without getting run over, you can show that they're both in place. Not completely symmetrical, but that's okay. It's not so obvious you would really notice. I can push these down a little bit more. These are the Jardin bird cages, Jardin, French for garden bird cages, that I got from Gardener's Supply, and I will definitely put a link. And what was so funny is, oh, and by the way, they typically come like this, and then there's more that's set in here. But I'm going to use these rings because they're removable. I'm going to use these for another purpose, partly because I couldn't squish these enough to fit into the circumference of this pot and leave these on. So that's okay. I just took them off and I'll use them in another area. But what was funny to me is I was looking at Gardener Supply website and flicking through the images of them when I was capturing the link for you guys, and and one of the pictures was in my old garden where I use them in my own garden. So I absolutely love these. If you want an understated garden ornament, boy, I think these are the ticket. And then always I'm doing this. This is constant, is just deadheading. And I just throw them into the garden bed. They can compost in place. Okay, let's walk along here and see how pretty all of the white looks with that Obsession Nandina, but pretty soon this is going to completely transform. And Stuart and I will do that walk thing where we show you what it looks like one week and then what it looks like the next week. But boy, it's really beautiful, even going in both directions. But pretty soon, when these transform from white into the pink palette, I am hoping that apricot and pink will be just a perfect color echo to the Obsession Nandina. And I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and she said that she has to grow Nandina simply because she likes to use it in flower arrangements so much, and I would have to concur. I would have to concur. So even though it's full-blown spring right now, we're always thinking about the future. And I'm thinking about autumn's edge and not only appreciating what it looks like now, but also anticipating the beauty in the fall. And boy, it is looking pretty good right now. Over here, I love the way yarrow looks when it first comes out. And how Eastery does that look? And this is a tulip from last year, so I can take that out. But look at how pretty that looks. Those are some of the mums from last fall. They're white mums, and I planted those in the ground. I do need to cut those back and keep cutting them back until the 4th of July, so they will bloom a little bit later. I still haven't moved that fire chief, but maybe I get to that today. I did cut back one of the Nandinas really hard there, and it will come out, no problem. It will come out just fine, and it will look like these with all of their new foliage here pretty quickly. And then that up there with kind of the speckled green foliage, that's Gara, and I've got a couple tufts of that. So pretty soon this whole area will be filled with living mulch and that Fire Chief arborvitae if that slow gardener Linda ever gets around to it. Okay, so I want to introduce you to my friend Lori that lives just right next door to me. And we're going to do something at your house, aren't we? We're going to...
It'd be nice.
Yeah. We're going to do some pots and things.
I've been thinking about this for a long time.
Yes, well...
So we would love it.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. So...
Anything would improve it, by the way.
Well, I know, but it's fun. But you lead a pretty interesting life, so you have to live your life too.
It's a lot of pressure living next to the small.
Well, Lori is mission director up at St. Luke's Methodist Church up here, and she does just marvelous, marvelous things. And I think you know everybody in Oklahoma City.
No, not really, but you know, I am friendly, so maybe I pretend like I know everyone.
And you're so friendly that I just could pull you off of the street and introduce you to my friends. Okay, and you not only look cute, you really smell good too.
Thank you.
What's your fragrance?
Today I think I'm wearing Elizabeth Arden white ginger lily. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Ginger lily, I think it's called.
Okay, it's divine, darling. It's divine. Okay, go and have a...
Drag it out the trash.
Yeah,
that's what you do.
Yeah, that's what you do. You put on, you spritz.
Drag out the
you
trash.
spritz. Yeah. Well, have a fragrant day.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Stuart, since you're getting me from behind, you guys are getting a good glimpse of my battery pack and my back brace. I need to move that. I need all... Kayla's gonna come with gravel. This is all that gorgeous agapanthus. Stuart actually carried these over here for me yesterday. And all this mess is gonna be cleaned up. Look, I can even bend and pick up my own trowel. But it's pretty from this vantage point. So I'm starting to, today I'm gonna stage more of my little plant theaters. Look at how many more tulips are out. This just, oh my gosh, I think I'm never gonna be able to do anything different here because these colors are just absolutely too remarkable. Too remarkable. Look great. I think I'm gonna fill, I keep telling you I'm gonna do stuff, and I am gonna do it. But I have to wait for some things to arrive, and I got other things I have to do in the meantime. I did cut back my lavender. It looks pretty scraggly here. I did cut it back. Boy, this Fire Chief Arborvitae is very happy here. And almost all of its bronzing has grown out. Oh my goodness, what am I seeing here? Oh my gosh, look. There's green growth coming on that. Oh my gosh, and this is the one that typically comes out later. Now see, the pattern has been in the past that it starts at the base and then it comes out on the canes, but this year it's coming out on the canes. Little Miss Figgy, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. So now let me look over here and see if it's doing the same on this one. Not yet, not yet. Oh, wait. Do you see what I see, Stuart? Yeah, look back there. Look back there, at least on the lower cane. At least on the lower cane, maybe these two lower canes. So whether or not it starts coming out on this big cane kind of remains to be seen. And even those that are coming up through this plant stand, I'm okay with that right now because actually if they come up and grow through the plant stand, it'll look kind of cool. And then I can just reposition the geraniums, which are looking très lovely. Over here, I mean, these are the two areas that are very ugly right now that need to be tackled, and they will be, is my potting area, which has been, actually, I've been pretty busy over there in it. And then this area over here. And I've kind of been waiting because look at how pretty this elephant bush looks here. It's, when I come out and I do this, I kind of have ADD, which I fully recognize. But I bet you do too when you're out in your garden in the morning. So once this gets back on here, then I will judge all of this. And I think it'll be nice. Had several garden visitors yesterday. There was a woman who, she was from Oklahoma City, but outside of Oklahoma City. Where was she? is it Norman? I can't remember exactly, but she was on the way to the medical center. Anyhow, she was so sweet, and had very kind words. So she got a pair of Cool Jobs gloves. Sometimes if you come by from out of an area and you say hi or whatever, you get gifted a surprise thing of Cool Jobs gloves. But I think it looks pretty now. I do think it looks pretty. I'm anxious for the gravel to come in and hide a lot of my drip line. I decided to move one of the boxwoods that just wasn't, it was an old boxwood I had and it just wasn't recovering. So I decided to dig it up and move it, because sometimes nothing is better than something. But it's looking good. One thing I am going to do is I'm going to move the table. Hudson and I discussed this last week. I'm going to move the table a little bit this way. That way I can also, thinking ahead, I can move this a little bit this way, and he'll have a place to put his hammock right in here. It may not look like there's enough room on camera, but there is enough room, and the hammock itself is such a pretty color that it will color coordinate. In fact, Stuart, if you can just kind of show people some pretty things, and I'm going to see if that hammock is there because I want to show it to you. Okay, you can stop because or you can keep going, whatever. I've got to go around to the front because the door's locked. Now see how pretty this color is? I showed you guys this last year, but it just matches, it matches perfectly. Maybe I should just artfully throw it casually over a chair or something until it's used. But see how the colors are just perfect? And it's just a little bit more fiery back here. It's just a whole different vibe because the color palette is so different. And that makes it fun for me. I can feel like I've got two completely different kinds of gardens. And that makes, I think that's a trick too to a smaller garden. If you kind of divide it up into different auras, different color themes, then it makes you feel as if you have more than you really do. Boy, there's that bird again, Stuart. They are busy this morning. Okay, so I think we're gonna stop here. I wanna show you how pretty the Japanese maple is filling out. And even though my table looks yucky, it looks so pretty with the light shining on that geranium. I'll clean all this up. By the way, you guys keep asking me, and I will show you. This is what I use to fertilize my boxwood with. Boxwood Turbo Grow, and I've got a special code that I'll share with you guys to be able to get some of this. It is top notch. It is absolutely top notch. Okay, let's just stop here. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Just another casual day out in the garden, but it's beautiful out this morning, and I want to savor every single minute of living my garden-inspired life. Let's close with that my favorite view. How about, Stuart, we close with my very, very favorite view of the cottage as I come back from my daily walks. See you guys later.